Marjorie Taylor Greene is making pretty clear what she thinks is happening here. Here she was blaming Israel for Jeffrey Epstein, again, without any evidence. And if there's evidence, present it. I'm all in favor of all Jeffrey Epstein files being released, all of it, no evidence whatsoever, because she doesn't like Israel and also because she has some peculiar views, shall we say, about Jews.
I too dislike Israel deeply because its government is a genocidal, disgusting government that has a military that has committed atrocities, genocide, and all sorts of horrible, horrific, inhumane behavior and activities, using American resources to do it, by the way. But regardless of that, I don't judge my opinion on the Epstein files based on how I feel about Israel. I base it on the facts. And in fact, there's been quite a bit of reporting in recent weeks that ties a direct link between Epstein and the Israeli government. But Jake, what are your 2 cents?
Yeah, my 2 cents is that Dropsite News already broke the story about how Jeffrey Epstein was working with Israel. What did Jeffrey Epstein want America to do? Ben Shapiro won't tell you, but we will, and we'll show you why he's obviously preposterously wrong. And you all know what he's gonna say. Everybody's an anti-Semite.
All right, well, for those who are interested in being smeared as anti-Semites because they believe in the truth, let's get to the details. So the clip that you just watched featuring Ben Shapiro was from yesterday's episode of his show, which was titled "Trump Ends MTG's Career," which is a little bit out of touch if you ask me, but nonetheless.
A lot out of touch.
As you already saw, Shapiro denied that Epstein has ties to the Israeli government, but
How would he know?
Well, actually,
How would he know?
I think he probably does know and is intentionally lying to us, but we'll put that aside for now. I don't know what's in his head. Maybe actually, you know what? I want to be better. I want to be better than that. I'll be generous and take his word for it and just assume that maybe he doesn't know about this reporting.
But
okay,
I wouldn't come out and tell you, I am positive that the Turkish government has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. How would I know? I'm not positive about anything because we haven't seen any of the files. We don't know any of the evidence. How do you know they didn't do it? How do you know Saudis didn't do it? How do you know the CIA didn't do it? But you seem absolutely certain, Ben. How would you gain that certainty?
So let's get to some of the headlines that were featured over at Dropsite News because they poured over the Ehud Barak emails to Epstein, which of course were leaked as part of a hack. They also reported on the various documents and emails that were released by both Democrats and Republicans in the House Oversight Committee. So with that in mind, I mean, this is based on hard evidence. They were able to report the following stories. Epstein helped broker an Israeli security agreement with Mongolia. Interesting. Epstein helped Israel build a back channel to Russia during the Syrian civil war. That's not all. Epstein helped Israel sell a surveillance state to the Ivory Coast. Here's this other one, by the way.
That's weird. He seems to be working with one particular country.
Quite a bit. An Israeli spy stayed at Epstein's Manhattan residence for weeks at a time. That was a story that I reported on just last week. And then today, oh wait, there's more. Oh no, there's one more that was published today. Jeffrey Epstein pursued Swiss Rothschild Bank to finance Israeli cyber weapons empire. Epstein to Ehud Barak. Ariane de Rothschild said to me, if Ehud wants to make serious money, he will have to build a relationship with me. Take time so that we can truly understand one another. It's pretty incredible how many deals he engaged in on behalf of Israel, a country that Ben thinks Epstein had no ties to whatsoever.
So look, what's amazing is that it's the emails are indisputable, and I've now said this a bunch of times because I'm blown away by it. Epstein could get a meeting with almost any world leader. Mongolians, no problem. Ivory Coast, no problem. Vladimir Putin, no problem. And in fact, Ehud Barak not only had trouble, the former Israeli prime minister, getting those meetings, but Epstein, more deeply connected to the Israeli government than even the former prime minister, could get those meetings at the drop of a hat. That means he was one of the most powerful men on earth. And literally every single instance is him helping one country. And it isn't Mongolia, and it isn't the Ivory Coast, and it isn't America. It's Israel. So There's no question anymore. You could say, look, I don't know that Epstein was being paid by Mossad or technically worked for Mossad, but you cannot say that he wasn't working with Israel. And by the way, what was his top objective? Well, he had a lot of objectives, but certainly one of the top objectives in the emails is getting America to bomb Syria and getting America to bomb Iran. Oh, look, those are the two things that Israel wanted most. And there's Epstein working with Israel to do the thing they want, which is for America to fight their wars for them. That's not a trope. That's literally what they did, and it's in their own emails.
So did Marjorie Taylor Greene plant these stories and just make up an entire narrative about Epstein's ties to Israel because she dislikes Israel? Or could it just be that these documents, these emails, everything that's been released through the House Oversight Committee that Drop Site News has been poring over confirms something that's been long suspected, that Epstein was working with the Israelis? So let me give you some more information here. So Shapiro doesn't think that Epstein had any connections to intelligence, period.
Oh no, he knows. He knows. How do you know, Ben?
There's evidence presented. I'm all in favor of all Jeffrey Epstein files being released, all of it. The reason I think the president didn't want all of that released is because he was tired of talking about it and because his own FBI had told him there was no there. But I'm all in favor of more transparency on the Epstein files. And anybody who was involved, if in fact there was, as the sort of most ridiculous suppositions, evidence-free suppositions suggest, some sort of intelligence agency operation to underage people in order to blackmail people, which is the theory here. If that's true, whoever engaged in it is evil, full stop, bar none. That's just basic morality. But again, the evidence-free nature of this thing is the reason why it is being trafficked by people like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay, now we're screwed, Anna. That means they definitely cleanse the files. Because there's no way that Ben Shapiro is gonna say, oh yeah, release them all, I don't mind at all. And you know what, if anyone was up to no good, they are evil, bar none, right? No, that means he already knows Israel wiped him clean.
I mean, we don't know what's going on in his head.
And all right, that's my speculation, to be fair.
That's the speculation, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. No, I think he's entirely wrong in his commentary here. But I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't know what he knows and doesn't know. What I do know, though, is that he has this habit of immediately dismissing legitimate concerns that do have merit by just blowing it off as, oh, this person just hates Israel. In fact, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick, Anna. I mean, before, same thing with Trump. Trump and Shapiro, same timeline, right? Don't release them, it's no big deal. Come on, stop it, nobody should look. Don't worry about it, no. All of a sudden, oh, we're good, you can release them all now. I'm sure that there's nothing bad in them. Okay, oh boy, now I'm really worried, okay.
So, Let's get to the more of his commentary about Marjorie Taylor Greene, because as I've been alluding to over and over again, his argument in regard to Marjorie Taylor Greene's motivations here is that she doesn't really care about Epstein survivors. She's actually concerned about destroying the reputation of Israel because she hates Israel so much. So let's take a quick look at him make that argument. Maybe he's gonna cite something that's legitimate here. Maybe there's something more than ad hominem attacks. Who knows? Let's take a look.
This brings us to what's actually going on under the surface here. Marjorie Taylor Greene started caring about the Epstein files in a serious way with regard to President Trump about the time that she got angry at President Trump's foreign policy with regard to the Middle East. That seems to be the pattern here. She, Thomas Massey, and a wide variety of commentators seem to get very exercised about President Trump and the Epstein files by claiming that President Trump is in fact enthralled to Israel, and that what is happening with the Epstein files, that it's some sort of Mossad agency operation. And what made them mad is that President Trump actually is not anti-Israel the same way that they are. She, of course, believes that the United States is enthralled to the Israelis, particularly President Trump. She thinks that President Trump is somehow controlled by the Israelis.
Right, she's right about that. Look, it's not just Marjorie Taylor Greene on the right who see the connection between Epstein and Israel. Megyn Kelly, who has now been a target of Mark Levin, even though she's a Zionist who supports Israel, also has said on the record that she believes that there's a connection to Israel. Charlie Kirk, before he died, before he was viciously assassinated, he's on the record saying that he sees a connection between Epstein and the Israeli government. So let's just Call a spade a spade. This isn't something that Marjorie Taylor Greene made up out of whole cloth in order to smear Israel.
No, look, man, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have believed this if my life depended on it. I would have thought it was the craziest thing I ever heard. Then you start looking at the actual facts that are all already in the public sphere. So, like, I didn't know that Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was the most legendary Mossad spy that, like, in history. He's the one that stole America's nuclear secrets and gave them to Israel. That's why they have the nuke. He got a giant state funeral when he passed away. We don't think that's relevant? Like, I'm not saying that, that proves it for sure and the sins of the father are passed on to the daughter. But that's not relevant as to which country they might have been working with on top of. If by itself you might say, maybe not. So of course, maybe not, right? But combined with all the emails where Epstein's like, I'm helping Israel start a war that America will fight. I mean, and then the other one, the accomplice's dad is a legendary Mossad spy. And Ehud Barak stayed at his house 30 times. And there's a literal Mossad spy that stays for weeks at his house. And that, by the way, he's more powerful then because he arranges meetings for them with American officials, both Republicans and Democrats in the Biden White House and Obama White House. A guy that powerful is a rando working by himself with no intelligence agencies at all. Look, you can convince me that it's CIA and CIA alone. You cannot convince me that there are no intelligence agencies involved here and both parties have been covering it up. And that, you have all of this record of him working with one particular country, but people are randomly picking that country because they're all anti-Semites? Come on, that's absurd. No, you're picking that country because of all the emails where he says, I'm working with Israel to do X, Y, and Z and arranges meetings for the Israelis on this and that and other thing. So of course it's related to Israel, of course. And so, but Ben Shapiro, to be fair to him, is doing what mainstream media is doing, but he's just doing it out loud. Mainstream media just doesn't say it, but like in those exact words, but what do? They go, Marjorie Taylor Greene, illegitimate anti-Semite, no one should listen to her. We already have Drop Site News and all the other outlets that have now picked up this story of Ehud Barak's emails that showed that Epstein's clearly with Israel. And they're like, no, we won't report it. Under penalty of law, we will not report it. Beloved Israel shall never, ever, ever be criticized or accurately reported on. Well, what the hell's going on here? Nah, this is absurd. It doesn't matter. Look, all these guys are dead in the water, not physically, violently, I mean rhetorically, politically, and in media, right? So, by the way, if Mark Levin comes out and says, it's okay, release the files, I'm okay now. I didn't want to do it before, but now I want to do it. That means that's it, they scrubbed them clean. But that doesn't matter, guys, because these idiots think they're gonna get away with everything because they're so used to mainstream media being 100% on their side and covering all their tracks. But now everybody's seeing everything. So if they release those files and they try to clean them and scrub them, they're gonna get caught. Everybody in America is gonna pour through those files. They're gonna get caught on what got taken out. And this last trick, Anna, is I'm on Trump's side. Is she saying that Trump is too pro-Israel? Yeah, she's saying that, and half of Trump's voters totally agree.
Like what? Like, right. Are you in a cult? Like, I don't understand. So you're never allowed to question dear leader? Sometimes dear leader is wrong. In fact, Ben Shapiro, out of all people on the right, would know that because he started off as a never Trumper.
Oops.
Was supportive of Ron DeSantis in the primaries.
More easily controlled.
So please stop with this, you're not loyal enough to daddy argument. It's pathetic, especially coming from a guy who's supposed to be an expert at debating. That's not an argument.
Yeah, none of this matters because as Tucker Carlson said, and it is true, Ben Shapiro won't even have a career 5 years from now. His base is gone, gone, gone. Na, 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 na. Okay, quote me on it. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.